Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Today is explanation of upcoming episode Throne of Seal based on novel. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. So let's start. According to Yi Xiaolei's words, Long Haochen would need 12 hours to recover his body's functions, but after 12 hours passed, he had not only recovered his body's functions, but also over 70% of his spiritual energy. Through cultivation, Long Haochen found out that in the process of absorbing the light essence to purify his spiritual energy, it started by accumulating it in the spiritual cavity in his chest, while his other spiritual cavities between the eyebrows and on his abdomen still didn't show any activity. It seemed as if only after the spiritual cavity in his chest was filled up completely, would the other two start gathering light essence. However, the fact it wasn't able to store any of it didn't mean it couldn't help him in the process of purification. The other two spiritual cavities did the same work as the one on his chest habitually did, only working a lot slower than the one on his chest. As for the mastery of his spiritual cavities, it would need continuous cultivation. But currently, Long Haochen didn't have much time, because Xiaoya was already starting to wake up from her long slumber. Although Long Haochen was cultivating all this time, his attention was still focused on Kia, and when she finally came back to her senses, he immediately awoke from the state of cultivation. Kia. Long Haochen called her lightly, rushing to join her side. Kia slowly opened her hazy eyes, and gave a dull look to Long Haochen, before looking at the surroundings and suddenly grabbing Long Haochen's hand. Why? Why is it that I can't think of anything? In the end, who am I? And what's this place? Long Haochen replied gently, you are Kia, and I am Long Haochen. Because of the awakening of your power, you suffered some setback, thus you temporarily lost your memories. Don't worry, everything will get well. I will definitely help you recover your memories. Kia shook her head forcefully, grabbing strands of her hair that had turned a lusterful grey color, revealing a pained look on her delicate face. I really cannot think of anything. I feel so bad, so bad. Long Haochen felt a very sharp pain in his heart, and couldn't help but take her in his arms. Alarmed, Kia fiercely pushed him away. She protectively placed her hands on her chest. What are you doing? Long Haochen hastily replied, don't be afraid, Kia. I won't do anything else than keeping you company, is it okay? Calm down for now. The more anxious you feel, the harder it will be for you to regain your memories. Are you willing to listen to me as I tell you everything about you? Repeatedly comforted by Long Haochen, Kia gradually calmed down from her state of fear, but still gave Long Haochen a wary look. Don't come near, speak from there, okay? Long Haochen agreed, using a warm voice to speak. You are called Kia, and are an assassin from the Assassin Temple of the Temple Alliance. Temple Alliance. What's that? And what is the Assassin Temple? Kia gave Long Haochen a blank look. Long Haochen was astonished. He didn't think Kia's memory loss would be so extensive. Kia, then sit down. I will slowly tell you about it, yeah. Kia's resistance seemed to weaken, as she complied to his recommendation, slowly sitting down. However, just after sitting, she wrinkled her eyebrows. I'm really hungry. Indeed, the three of them didn't eat anything for a day and a night. Long Haochen hastened to take out food and water to give to the two girls. Long Haochen carefully provided food for Kia, and even intentionally used holy fire to roast her portion, taking meticulous care of her. Standing nearby, Yi watched Long Haochen cook food for Kia, as he started telling her about the condition of Xingmo Dalu, sounding sentimental. For some reason, she felt her heart ache and her nose sour, while tears glinted in her eyes. If one day, a man would do all this for me, I would be willing to go as far as to die for him. Kia's fear and rejection gradually disappeared, melting under Long Haochen's care and his recounting of her story. Hearing everything said by Long Haochen, her mind gradually stabilized. She appeared, just like a thirsty traveler suddenly finding an oasis in an endless desert. Carefully listening to everything told by Long Haochen, at least her mind didn't feel blank anymore. About every half hour of talk, Long Haochen gave Kia have some time of rest to digest everything he told, before continuing. Just him telling about the continent's history, and the present condition of the continent took nearly 2 hours. The first time we met, I was very little. At that time, you were a lot stronger than me. I was just 9 years old at that time, and picking vegetables to bring them home. Then suddenly, the you who was back then a thin girl of 7 or 8 years old fell to the ground. I still remember our next encounter. At that time, I didn't even recognize you, but you recognized me through the forget-me-not ring, yet didn't tell me. That was so mean of you. But that period passed so fast, as if the Demon Hunt Squad selection competition wasn't of much importance. In the Exorcist Mountain Pass, we were living in a dormitory. As though nobody else was present, you built us a little home, and that touched me greatly. I secretly pledged to myself that in the future, I would definitely give you a warm home. Your suffering is all my fault. Because I didn't take good care of you, you are hurt so badly now. Long Houchen kept speaking slowly, his voice sounding warm, as if soaking Caia's heart in a clear spring. That was until she fell asleep, her head sinking on her own shoulder. On the other side, Yu Yi had become silly from listening long ago, focusing even more than Kia herself on listening. This situation lasted for a total of 3 days. Every day, Long Houchen kept telling Kia about everything, providing food and drinks for her, but as for the private business proper to a girl, she naturally let Yu Yi teach her about it. Long Houchen's account was very detailed, and he was very patient, repeating himself when necessary, and through the 3 days of contact, Kia finally stopped being indifferent to him and instead saw him as someone close to her. Still, she could as before not remember anything, and could only barely accept everything told by Long Houchen. Kia's strength wasn't lost, but in the contrary, greatly increased. The only good news were that she still preserved her battle instincts. The only memories she had left were her abilities as an assassin. And furthermore, based on everything Kia said, she seemed to be able to control a new power, that she didn't know much in detail about, but according to Long Houchen's judgment, would be fit for close-quarter battles. Making use of her new insights, the new powers she got was of course related to her identity as the chosen one of the god of death. Through several days of contact, the amnesic Kia gradually accepted Long Houchen. But right now, she was like a piece of white paper, unaware of the affairs of the world, who could only regard him as a friend, without her past feelings towards him. Yu Yi saw many times how Long Houchen gazed at her, sad and depressed, when Kia was sleeping or cultivating. We should return. Kia, are you ready? Long Houchen finally asked her. Yeah. Kia lightly nodded, winking with her pair of large eyes. Contrary to the expectations, she was a lot more lively than before. Secretly letting out a sigh, Long Houchen called out to Yu Yi and activated the eternal melody. Saying this, she turned around and looked afar, but without taking many steps, she once again stopped in her tracks. Abruptly turning around, she gave a provoking glance at Caia, and declared towards Long Houchen, if you had met me first, I would definitely have made you fall for me. With a glint of purple light, Yu Yi once again turned around and moved quickly. Her eyes were filled with tears, as if ready to overflow at any time. Long Houchen was shocked, seeing her disappear, and for a moment, he was unable to say anything. Actually, he wasn't someone who couldn't understand cues, but it was just that during these past few days, all his attention was focused on Kia, so he didn't pay much attention to Yu Yi. Yu Yi's words rang in his ears, and for a moment he couldn't help but feel unable to think. What's so amazing with her? Facing the direction of the departing Yu Yi, Caia stuck out her tongue. I have seen through the malicious intentions she harbors long before. Long Houchen, tell me, do you like her or me? Seeing that obstinate face of Kia's, Long Houchen couldn't help but feel torn between laughter and tears. Still, he felt some difference. In the past, Kia would never have asked him this kind of thing. Kia was originally a reserved person, but after losing her memories, her personality became more extroverted. Wasn't this a perfect example? What susceptible girl she became now. Of course I like you. In my life, you are the only person I will ever like. Long Houchen softly pulled her hand, seriously telling these words. In some panic, Kia evaded his look and took back her hands. You. Don't be like this. I feel a little strange. Didn't you say you would bring me to look for our comrades? Let's go then. Major Jacques City, Team Section. Over the past days, the atmosphere in the whole Team Section has been staying very dark. Be it the 17th King Grade Demon Hunt Squad, or the 64th Commander Grade Demon Hunt Squad, all of them were in a very gloomy mood, especially the 5 of the 64th Commander Grade Demon Hunt Squad, who were extremely depressed. If not for the fact that they could feel that Long Houchen and Caia were still alive through the soul-linking chains, they would have already broken emotionally. Right? How could he be at ease? It was because of his mistake that their 2 Demon Hunt Squads were put in such danger. If not for what Long Houchen did, surely none of them would have returned alive. Right now, they were safe and sound, but Long Houchen and Kia could be in mortal danger, and this feeling was even more painful than if he was the one being killed. Han Yu, let's go to Modu City in search for boss. Wang Yuan abruptly stood up, telling in a high voice. Without Long Haochen here, Han Yu temporarily took over the position as leader of the team. I agree. Sima Xian brazenly assented, the veins on his clenched fists clearly visible. When they departed from Holy City, every one of them sensed a great increase in their strength, but when they really battled against demons, especially during the last battle, they realized that their strength was still insignificant, and that at the crucial time, they were unable to help Long Haochen. Facing so many demon powerhouses, they didn't even have the opportunity to act. Lin Xin and Chen Yinga got up with very red eyes, and the four of them all looked at Han Yu. Looking at them, Han Yu also slowly stood up, rationally speaking, I should stop you. This time, we will have 90% odds of departing from this world forever, and I shouldn't let you rashly take such risks. However, fuck reason. Let's go. Saying this, he grabbed the sword on his side, and was the first to head out. Just as they were going out, the five of them were stopped by a tall person. Get out of the way. Sima Xian shouted loudly, immediately picking up the energetic ball of light in his hand. The one blocking their way was the 17th King Grade Demon Hunt Squad Captain Tian Qing. I cannot let you go. We already made a big error, and cannot keep continuing to make them. Without Haochen here, I will protect you on his behalf no matter what. Fuck off. Sima Xian shouted in anger, this time becoming blunt. The energetic ball of light was accordingly swung above his head. The others from the 64th Commander Grade Demon Hunt Squad also successively released their spiritual energy. The discontent and resent they had all this time toward Tian Qing finally erupted. Tian Qing took a deep breath, if killing me can quench the grief in your hearts, I won't stop you. But we are demon hunters, as such, how can we die at the hands of our own people? I know that everything is my fault, please give me a chance for redemption. I don't ask for much, just please let me be the one to head for the core city. If within 10 days, my comrades and I cannot bring back news, it will not be too late for you to move on your own. The danger Haochen is facing is all due to my mistake. If someone has to throw away his life, please let me be the one to do so. My only hope is that while facing death, I can avoid that fate for others. At this point, his body erupted with a powerful energy. Furthermore, being a Mithril Foundation knight, he was already at the peak of the 7th step. Through the battle against Arbao, he came a lot closer to the 8th step, and he seemed very determined. Over the past few days, the 5 remaining members of the 64th Commander Grade Demon Hunt Squad were very mournful. How could they possibly feel good? Their pain even kept increasing with time. Having gotten no news after several days, everyone already had the worst possible scenarios playing in their minds. At this time, they couldn't keep enduring this torment. After giving all his comrades a hug, Long Haochen suddenly gave a look to Tian Qing, who was silently leaving, calling out in haste, Brother Tian Qing. Tian Qing's body went very still. Stopping his steps, he turned around with a bitter smile, I don't deserve to be called brother by you. Just call me by my name. Long Haochen took large strides towards Tian Qing, placing his right fist on his left chest, and giving him a knight salute. Almost unconsciously, Tian Qing saluted back. Long Haochen told with a deep tone, why are you discouraged just from failing once? Although you were a bit extreme during this operation, not everything you did was wrong. At the time of battle, you repeatedly proposed letting your comrades and you stay behind for us, and didn't lose your honor as a knight. In my heart, you are still an elder, brother-like knight. You shouldn't be discouraged like that, but keep leading your comrades for the honor of the knights, and fight for the future of humanity. Brother Tian Qing, I don't blame you. Foolishly looking at Long Haochen, Tian Qing started to weakly tremble. Actually, his lips were frozen, and even from this unshakable man, tears incessantly welled up. Haochen, I'm so sorry. With both his knees turning soft, he kneeled down. Long Haochen hurried to give him a hug. Brother Tian Qing, everything is already over. Aren't we still well and alive? The constrained emotion he had been suppressing during these past days completely broke its way now, and this powerful Mithril Foundation armored knight, a vigorous man who usually shed blood on the battlefield, not tears, was now crying like a child. This was how powerful his pain was. Nonetheless, crying here was the best, otherwise if he didn't vent these feelings, perhaps this would lead to his ruin later. A man and another holding each other, that feels a little strange. A voice that carried some reservation and shyness suddenly remarked. Wang Yuan unconsciously rebuked, Yinga, stop joking around. Nonetheless, after saying this, She felt that something was amiss with these words she just heard, because in front of her, Chen Yinga was looking back with stupefaction. Wang Yuan immediately turned back, seeing with shock Caia move back with a pitiful expression, while giving them a furtive look. It was not only the two of them, but everyone else in the 64th Commander Grade Demon Hunt Squad couldn't help but look shocked. In their hearts, Kia was always cold, silent, resolute, daring, and powerful. In the team, they respected Long Houchen the most, while they certainly all feared Kia. Although Kia didn't speak a lot, whenever the need arose, she would step forward and filled Long Houchen's position in the team, and no one would doubt her. Her strength was obvious to all of them, being a powerful being capable of instantly killing powerhouses of the 8th step. In the past, Long Houchen and her were the dual cores of the team. Who would have thought that at this time, Kia would actually suddenly say such words? This could already not be called strange anymore. Kia unconsciously shifted to Long Houchen's side, and with a dodge, hid herself behind Long Houchen's back, grabbing the back of his clothes with both her hands. While supporting Tian Qing with his hands, as he saw the shocked looks on his comrades' faces, his expression darkened as he said, "Never mind. We'll speak of this after going back. Brother Tian Qing, your complexion doesn't look good. We are already back here, safe and sound, so you should also take some rest. We cannot stay in Major Jacques City for much longer. Leaving as early as possible is better. Right, I'm giving you back your Mithril Foundation armor, brother." Saying this, he released the silver box-shaped legendary armor in front of Tian Qing. In a flash, Tian Qing remarked, "Right. With your strength, winning a Mithril Foundation armor won't be a challenge. That way it will be your own honor. Houchen, it's really good that you're safe and sound. I'll not be saying anything more on this subject. I am not fit to act as your big brother. In the future, if you need any help from our team, no matter how high the danger is, we won't spare any cost. We will be standing with you shoulder to shoulder. Then I'll not keep bothering you." After saying this, he gave another night salute to the whole 64th Commander Grade Demon Hunt Squad, turning back with an ashamed face. He actually didn't have the face to stay here. His culpability was not something that could be dispelled in such a short time, and Tian Qing secretly pledged to himself that one day he would return this favor, going as far as sacrificing his life, if necessary. "Captain, Kia," Wang Yuan asked anxiously. Slightly sighing, the grief in Long Houchen's eyes became obvious to everyone. "Let's go to a room to speak about that." When saying these words, he turned around to nod at Kia, then led her inside. The rooms in the team section weren't big, so with 7 people in one room, it was somewhat crowded, and the atmosphere was really depressing. Damned demons. Sima Xian ferociously beat the wall on his side. Hearing Long Houchen tell them about what happened after everyone separated, they felt enraged, as one might well imagine. Kia was merely standing nearby and listened, occasionally giving a look to Long Houchen, filled with hesitation and fear for strangers. "Can you all tell me who is who?" As if not sensing the grief of the others, Kia asked with curiosity. After losing her memories, she apparently had little courage, but was very curious regarding everything. Everyone suppressed their own feelings of sorrow, and gave an introduction of themselves. After giving them serious looks, Kia hid herself behind Long Houchen again. A change appeared in the coloring of Long Houchen's cheeks. They turned deeply red, and he slowly drew some air. "My body is fundamentally recovered. So let us discuss our following course of action." Kia lost her memories, but her strength increased. It's just that with her current temperament, it's hard to say whether she'll be able to display her strength. The overwhelming majority of the 16 missions we took this time are completed, and the remaining 3 missions consist of killing the devil snake god Andromalius, 100 regular devil snakes, and 2 medusas. Based on the informations I got from Yi, the devil snake god Andromalius is located in the eastern Andhra province. I examined the map, and found that Andhra province is located to the north of the central province, and quite close from this team section. It is near the northern border of the continent, at the coast. But because it's very far from the alliance, the defenses there are not very tight. The biggest mission assigned to the demons there is to catch fish from the sea, to accommodate their deficiency of food. Except for the mission of killing Andromalius, for which we don't have a great chance of success, the other 2 missions are quite easy. And furthermore, Yi said that Andromalius was looking for something in the swamps of gloom in his territory. If the 7 of us can encircle him there, we should have a decent chance at killing him. My only worry now is regarding Kia's condition. Her battle instincts are still there, but her attitude is as you all just saw. Having obtained this information with great difficulty, we can definitely not give up so easily. Kia's strength can temporarily not be counted on. While we are completing the mission, I will possibly let her stay in the Tower of Eternity. This will make it harder for us to kill Andromalius. Of course, the best situation would be to have Caia recover her memories and regain her fighting abilities. After the closure of our missions, I will bring her back to have a reunion with her relatives at the Exorcist Mountain Pass. Perhaps, the influence from her family will help her recover some memories. Hanyu kept a low voice. Captain, if we don't have the help from Vice Captain, I'm afraid that killing the Devil Snake God will be. Long Houchen continued. Yes, the difficulty is high, but it's not as if there is no good news for us. After the battle against Arbao, my cultivation level had a breakthrough, and I am now at the 7th step. We can at least complete the other 2 missions. As for whether we can kill the Devil Snake God or not, we will act according to our own abilities. I pondered carefully during the last few days, and originally planned to immediately bring Kia back to the Alliance. But afterwards, I reflected on it and thought that for Kia, who has trained for so many years, perhaps a battle will help her recover her memories even better. I will protect her well, so we should head for Andhra Province. Listening to his explanation, everyone couldn't help but nod, densely packed with fighting intent. Glared at by his purple demon eyes, the Jacques demon immediately stumbled back several steps, hastily becoming respectful. So you were seniors of the Moon Demon clan. My apologies. Giving a cold snort, Long Houchen showed the excessive arrogance of the Moon Demons. Not paying the least bit of attention to these Jacques demons, he led his comrades and kept going forward. The defenses inside Major Jacques City were indeed very tight. The distance from the team section to the official residence couldn't be regarded as large, but on their way, they encountered 5 patrols. Nonetheless, relying on their disguise as Moon Demons, they didn't run into any obstacles. Their Viscount insignia and Long Houchen's striking resemblance to a Moon Demon, due to his handsome appearance, proved to be of great value. In the distance, the seat of government came to view. Compared to the official residences in cities of the Temple Alliance, this place could only be described with the words, simple and crude. It only had 2 floors, yet occupied quite a large area. The building looked old-fashioned, and many areas were damaged, with traces of poorly applied patched. Long Houchen brought his comrades to a dark corner in an alley, and gave an eye signal to Lin Xin. Meanwhile his body flashed with a golden glint of light. Yating appeared at his side without a sound. She had regained her strength along with Long Houchen, and was naturally recovered entirely. Long Houchen nodded to Lin Xin, be prepared, and when Yating's spell starts, activate yours as well. Lin Xin nodded, revealing a look full of excitement, containing even some cruelty. With a wave of his hand, a magic scroll appeared in his hand. Yating lifted her staff, chanting melodiously. Standing in the center of Long Houchen's group, she tried to dim the golden radiance emitted from her body as much as possible. Yating's incantation was melodious and effective, and the light essence spreading out from her grew more and more dense, as the massive aura of light gradually became impossible to conceal, spreading outward. The seat of government gradually showed some movement. How could they not pay attention to this dense light essence? Hurried steps already started to sound out, and rapidly, a patrol appeared in Long Houchen's line of sight. What are you all doing here? A Jacques demon rapidly rushed at Long Houchen's group with a cold glance. Long Houchen gave the order, leave no one alive. Following his order, Wang Yuanyuan was already taking large strides. Gliding 3 meters with each step, and treading heavily on the ground with her left feet, she welcomed the Jacques demon patrol on the ground. Those Jacques demon reflexively threw their spears at Wang Yuanyuan, but she didn't even avoid these, not even making use of the divine soul shield to block these. In the air, her silver spatial guarding armor let out ripples of silver light, showing a hugely impressive spatial armor, which stopped all the spears flying at her. What followed was the scene of a tiger in the midst of a flock of sheep. In Wang Yuanyuan's hands, the divine soul shield swung, making a horizontal movement before splattering forward. Screams accompanied with splashes of blood filled the whole street, as the bodies of the Jacques demons were far too weak compared to the divine soul shield. In front of that terrifying heavy shield, not a single intact corpse was left. Kia's eyes were wide open, hiding herself behind Long Houchen's back. She even trembled at this sight. The scene before her eyes was just too violent. Seeing the scattered limbs of the Jacques demons fly in all directions, and the burst of their blood, sputtering the walls on the sides of the street, her face was completely pale. In the past few days, she was always following Wang Yuanyuan and Chen Yinga. How could she expect that this tall and very good-natured girl actually had such power, and to be able to act with such violence? Long Houchen looked at Kia in silence, sensing the changes in her mood, but he didn't say anything. Kia, who lost her memories, was to be stimulated in all aspects in a hope to recover her memories. Among these, combat was an indispensable part. 20 Jack demons looked harmless in front of Wang Yuanyuan, who finally got to vent her inner rage. She wasn't using any abilities, completely relying on battle technique, and the destructive power of the divine soul shield. During the times she stopped, no one in this Jack Demon's patrol was able to breathe. However, even more Jack Demons were rushing in their direction now. Long Houchen told Kia in low voice, "Stay close to me. Don't be afraid, I will protect you. No matter what, as long as I am alive, I will definitely stand in front of you and protect you with my life." For some reason, hearing him say this, the panic filling Kia lessened, and she suddenly had an absolutely secure feeling when standing by the side of this good-looking man. This feeling of security greatly lessened her fear. Almost unconsciously, Kia took the initiative for the first time, after losing her memories, to take Long Houchen's hand. Her small hand felt ice-cold, and Long Houchen wrapped his own hand almost reflexively to warm it up, showing her a smile. In the meantime, the battle was in full swing. The position Long Houchen's group chose was a dead end, and thus the enemies could only approach from one direction. After Wang Yuanyuan finished her first round of slaughter, Sima Xian went up and swapped with her. Compared to Wang Yuanyuan, Sima Xian's rage was even more volatile, taking the shape of an even more terrible display of strength. The energetic ball of light flew directly in this narrow street, where none of the Jack Demon were able to dodge. When the divine soul shield was used, there remained at least snapped limbs, but now all that remained was meat paste. The smash ability fully emerged, combined with the crush ability from the evolution of the energetic ball of light, and triple blast, swept everything by the wind. Immediately, a terrible white light descended on top of the official residence, forming a white pillar of light over 100 meters long. It seemed that every surge of it illuminated the whole major Jack city, and the terrible fluctuations of light made even Long Houchen, the one chosen by the goddess of light, feel his heart palpitate. After completing this spell, Yating immediately returned back to Long Houchen's body. This spell almost consumed her whole magic power, and was chanted for a very long time. This was the proof of the issue of grade when releasing this spell. This was a spell of the 8th step, that Yating gained by reaching the 7th step along with Long Houchen, and the most powerful spell she could use, called Light Meteor. Even among spells of the 8th step, Light Meteor was ranked among the best. But this spell also had many flaws. Yating being of inferior step, the time of chant was excessively long, and the consumption massive. Even half of Long Houchen's spiritual energy was consumed by her to complete the spell. Furthermore, the time of incubation of Light Meteor was also very long. From its initial state as a ball of light, it would keep absorbing light essence in the air to gain in size and power. This spell was like a huge magnet, strengthening itself through absorbing a great quantity of light essence in their air, otherwise Yating wouldn't have been able to use it. Conversely, at the time the Light Meteor descends, the target of the attack wouldn't be locked. Thus, the destruction of a building was an optimal use. "We are going," Long Houchen said in a low shout, before suddenly spreading out the 4 wings on his back. Pulling Kia's hand, and bringing his comrades to the air, he rushed out of the street like a lightning bolt before his spiritual wings suddenly vanished. When they reached the other street by flight, they advanced at great speed in the direction of the team section. By then, Major Jack City was in huge uproar. From suffering the magic bombardment of Lin Xin and Yating, the city was in complete disorder. In particular, the damage inflicted by Light Meteor was just too terrifying. At least 4 Jack commander were immediately sent to death by it, and to defend the seat of government, the only remaining Jack chief clashed against the Light Meteor, ending up seriously injured. In the official residence, extending on a diameter of 100 meters, a 15-meter deep huge hole replaced the original building. This whole attack was just too sudden. From the moment the magic fluctuations were detected to the completion of the spell, only a quarter of an hour passed. As soon as they got the information, the 2 demon hunter removers rushed back, but the attack was already over, and only a messy scene was left for them to see. And Long Houchen's group had vanished long before. Smoothly returning to the team section, while killing some more patrolling teams on their way, Long Houchen didn't stop after returning to the tunnel. Bringing his comrades out of the city through the tunnel, they immediately used the night cover to head towards northeast direction. Everything was within Long Houchen's calculations. Launching an attack towards Major Jacques City wasn't done out of impulse, but after careful deliberation. This attack permitted not only to effectively kill some Jacques demon, but more importantly drew the attention from the enemies. This was also to tell the enemies that they were in Major Jacques City and didn't leave. At least for a period of time, the attention of the enemies was going to stay in Major Jacques City, as they took advantage of this to leave, aiming for the Andro province. Kia's abilities weren't lost, only she seemed not to use them much. Always staying behind Long Houchen, her face became pale, visibly frightened by the previous massacre. Seeing this kind of attitude from her only made everyone else feel an even greater pain. Not so long ago, the assassin queen, saint daughter of Samsara Kia, never showed any fear towards slaughtering demons. In the end, they couldn't find traces of Long Houchen's group of 7. After this event, the demons would launch an operation on the scale unprecedented in the last 100 years. In their journey, because their reserves of food and water were sufficient, they did their utmost to not pass through any demon cities, staying in the wilderness. Guided by their map and the direction of the sun, they traveled day and night to rush to the Andro province. Just as Yu Yi explained before, the more they ventured east, the more relaxed the guards were. Yet, the population increased. That was because the eastern coast was a lifeline for the demons. Without the coastal reserves of fish, the demons would have succumbed to the Temple Alliance long ago. The whole journey was without any major hiccups. When they encountered demons, they would rely on the status of Moon Demon Clan to conceal themselves and successfully pass through. The great majority of their time was spent in the wilderness, but their speed was still very fast. But for safety purposes, they didn't make use of their spiritual wings. A whole 15 days later, they finally entered the Andromalius province. The swamps of gloom were located on the northern part of the province, so they traveled to the north. Although everything went smoothly, Long Houchen was still feeling uneasy, because Kia didn't show any signs of improvement. On the contrary, she became even more silent and more confused than at the beginning. Only accompanying Long Houchen in silence every day, she would look at things that seemed new and odd to her, causing him to frequently flash her a helpless look. Every time this happened, he would feel difficulty to breathe due to the pain. But he didn't show her too much concern either. In the instances he became overly intimate, Kia would be intimidated and avoid him. Though, she fortunately didn't show signs of going against him. Kia seemed untrustful towards everyone, only placing some trust in Long Houchen. Furthermore, she occasionally had headaches, and every time this happened, her face would turn very pale, and the spiritual energy in her body would violently fluctuate. Long Houchen occasionally inspected Kia's spiritual energy. Although Kia didn't cultivate meticulously, her spiritual energy increased at a fast pace, its total exceeding 8,500 units, as if going straight for the mark of the 10,000 units. Based on this speed, in no less than half a year, she would reach the bottleneck between the 6th and the 7th step. Regarding her current condition, Long Houchen was completely helpless. All he could do was to take good care of her, and let her recover by herself. But her current plight made Long Houchen feel that she was so far from full health, that it seemed it would forever to recover completely. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.